Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
Joining us now, one of the most phenomenal new voices that I've heard in the last several months. She has been absolutely killing it on everything she got. Her latest single, Feel the Same, has been out there for a while, but everything she's been jumping on guest features has been great. Mariah Colon joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's tonight. How are you?
Hello.
I've been trying to use a laptop, but I know nothing about technology, and they're asking about a firewall. So
F that. We're here. We got you on the phone. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Listen, we're going to make it work. We appreciate you giving us time. I think you're our first resident of Cicero to join the show, so I appreciate that, because y'all got the fire low gas for about 5 cents cheaper than everywhere else in the city.
Today it was free, apparently.
Yeah, Willie Wilson was out there, wasn't he?
Yeah. If you're willing to wait like an hour and change a line, good for you. I did not have that. That's great fortune. We brought you on because Sam recently saw you over at Shuba's and Lincoln, absolutely killing. And we went deep diving. We listened to all the new records, found out so much more about you, and we find you absolutely fascinating. Let's start at the beginning a little bit. You grew up in a family that's full of musicians. Your siblings, your grandfather, your father was a rapper with Crooked County, for all those who grew up in the 90s and know anything about that. First off, my children hate my dad raps. Did you appreciate your dad raps?
Yes and no. I think he's like super, super talented, and his lyricism is like very inspiring. I think I took a lot of that. The things that he was talking about, I cannot relate to. I think that's the only thing. But in that sense, I think he's an amazing writer. So yeah, I definitely, he's an inspiration.
Yeah.
How you grew up? Was it go ahead.
Let me just follow up real quick, Sam. How important was it to have that musicality as part of your makeup? I know you said like you couldn't imagine doing anything but music. So do you feel like they're as much as part of your music DNA as is your own passion and drive?
I think it's been like rooted in my family for so long, as well as my upbringing, that it's just, I don't know what's life without music. Like I don't know what it's like to go to a family party and not hear music or not have musicians in my family. Like that's, I don't know. I remember I asked someone, and I was really, really young, and I like asked someone in 5th grade, I was like, what's your favorite song? And they looked at me and they're like, I don't like music. And I was like, what do you mean you don't like music? Like, I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone say that before.
Right.
What an awful sentence.
And then it just made me realize, like, okay, maybe not everyone has the same type of upbringing that I do.
Sure.
Your latest music, Feel the Same, and also your outfit when you were out on stage with your band is very 70s, 80s inspired. And we talked about this in our pre-production meeting, how it's like sort of strange that you're nostalgic for an era that you probably didn't live in.
Yeah.
But do you contribute that sort of listening to the music and your family being that into music as why that sort of exists in your brain?
Yeah, I grew up, well, first of all, it was a mix of a lot of things. So like my family grew up listening to like The Cure, or like just like 80s alternative. I don't know what the correct term is, like new wave. So I honestly there's just so many different genres that I grew up listening to, like freestyle or like house music, Chicago house music,
of course.
But mostly just like, what am I trying to say? Just a lot of alternative, I would say. And I definitely took a lot of inspiration from that. And I really like the retro aesthetic. I think that's like something that it has definitely grown on me. Just reminds me of like my grandma's house growing up. She had a lot of like postmodern 80s furniture around. And it's very like home to me. So yeah, definitely the growing up to hearing the music all the time, different forms of music and different types of music. Still things I listen to today, but also just that era of like transforming from, you know, I'm one of like the younger adults in my family. So I don't know. I take a lot of inspiration just from my grandma's home, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
Right.
that reveals a lot, I think. Was she also dressing sort of like the
Oh,
furniture
yeah.
with a lack of you know what I mean by that.
Oh, for sure. I feel like we have the same style. Like,
Word.
I lived with my grandma for a really long time, so I would like come downstairs and she's like, "Oh, where'd you get that at?" And I'm like, "Oh, do you want to borrow it? Because we kind of have the same style." So yeah, I definitely. She's so cool.
Are you we often ask artists on the show if they have any fashion tips for Weekend Gabe, because as you can see, it's not going well over there.
I got my medallion on today.
He's got his G medallion. You need that necklace like shortened by like half the amount so people can actually see that. But basically, we were just wondering if you had any tips for Gabe on how to find these unique pieces.
Well, we can start like simple and basic. What are your favorite colors?
Go ahead, Gabe.
Hard colors, red and black.
Awful.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. No,
I'm so sorry, but the color red makes me uncomfortable. I've even Googled it. I don't know. I can't help you there. I don't like the color red.
What is it about the color red that disturbs you so?
I don't even know. It's like very cringe. Like I just don't like the color red. And like I looked it up, and there's like a big percentage of people in the world that associate the color red with like fear or like anger. And that's why it makes me feel that way. I'm not sure, but I definitely don't like the color red. You said red? I can't help you.
I can't help you.
I don't know.
I don't do well in bright colors. So a lot of your album work has a lot of eclectic colors that I myself might not gravitate towards voluntarily. So I might need to get forced and pushed into those spectrums. But I'm also, as I've admitted on the show, I'm colorblind. So all colors look awfully distorted, except for black and red.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Listen, it's a tough life, but someone has to live it. You know.
All right, let's get back to the music here. You had sort of a turbulent journey to dropping "Feel the Same." We may have lost the audio here. Not sure what happened. Sometimes you gotta cut the camera off and cut it back on. We got you.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you. Okay. Basically, just wanted to talk about sort of the releasing of "Feel the Same" was this cathartic release. Ooh, we lost it.
Ooh.
But as you may know from following Mariah Colon's story, the releasing of "Feel the Same" was this cathartic release because you overcame quite a bit to get to where you were at to release this project. You lost your voice due to nodes on your vocal cords. You dropped an EP that you had worked really hard on overcoming the vocal cords thing to drop the EP, and then everything locks down. And it's been said in other interviews, you felt like the universe was conspiring against you in that moment. How good did it feel to release "Feel the Same" and then get the reception and the acclaim that came with it?
It's so hard to like fight the timeline that you want things to be in, you know? Like I want things now. I don't want to wait for it in the future. I want to have an EP release now. I don't want to wait for it later.
Right.
And I've just learned to be patient and that everything's in divine timing. Even if it's not what I want in the current moment, I know it's what's best for me, what's right for me. So releasing "Feel the Same" was just like, there's a lot of thought and a lot of like investment and planning. You know, it's never just like a release. You know, it's the release and the content and the following up with it and the interaction that you get from it. I didn't expect to like reach the audiences that I did, because it's a different genre for me. It was very like Dua Lipa inspired, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just, I guess it was a lot it was shocking to me to see that I could kind of jump from genre to genre and still get the support that I did.
Word.
Talk about the experience of putting out the Roots by Propagation on your own versus now working with the Loop Theory, who helps out with the distribution of the records. Well, what is that in contrast and that juxtaposition experience been like for you?
It's when I put out my EP, it was fairly new to music. You know, I didn't have a lot to like my name, you know, like, yeah, I sing and I make music. People are like, well, what do you do? And it's kind of hard to say I'm a singer, musician, songwriter if I don't have anything to show for it, you know? So I was in two different parts of my life at that time. Like me releasing that EP was just kind of dipping my feet into the water of becoming an artist. And when I released Feel the Same, it was just working on like, branching out and meeting different producers and engineers and a different audience. I don't think I can compare them at all. They're just different times in my life. And I think working with Kenneth has been so amazing and fun. Kenneth from Loop Theory, he's like very, very smart and inspiring. And I feel like he translates my ideas very well. And that has been just a really great, just a great journey to be on. I feel like that, I don't know, when you meet people that kind of work well with you, that's a good feeling. Because it's always hard to kind of communicate your ideas, you know? It's really hard to bring a song to someone and then have them also understand what you mean. Because music can be translated in different forms, you know? I can bring you a ballad and we can turn it into not a ballad, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a really good experience, and I'm very grateful to have met Kenneth.
Yeah. And all from a cold email, as I understand it.
Oh, that was just, I don't know. That was really scary. It was really fast. Everything happened really, really fast.
And I think I really enjoy that, because I don't think a lot of people understand that from the outside looking in, especially people who don't make music, how hard it is to find connections where people actually support you, you know? We talked to Elijah earlier about his connection with Ro, and I think that's really, really important. So I'm glad you said that. To piggyback off of that, you played Shubas with a live band.
Oh yeah.
How was assembling that team of Avengers for you? Was that a process similar to finding Loop Theory, or did it happen a bit slower?
No. My normal band has been very consistent. Consists of my friends that I grew up with and went to high school with, and my brother who plays bass. So he plays bass for me. Nice. That last show, my friend Jacob played bass. They also play for Mila La Morena. And that is how I met Jacob through a show, one of my first shows at The Wire in 2019. And I don't even know. Honestly, I think I've heard the term "you are your tribe," and I feel like I've just been blessed with really great musicians in my life, and they're funny and they're cool, and I can hang out with them. Like, it's not just music relationships, it's also friendship relationships too, and that's been really cool. And I think they support me and also want to just experiment and perform. So that band is just saying, hey, I have a show, do you want to play? But yeah, I want to play. And that's just been really cool. And it's consistent too. And that makes me feel comfortable on stage, knowing that I have, you know, people around me that I'm comfortable with. And I can just communicate very freely and open with, and I don't feel judged or anything.
Yeah. One of the things I've when we're looking at some previous interviews you've done is that you're like, you were mentioning like you used to write poetry, but it only poetry would come out when you were sad, and that you're on this mission to create hot girl bops.
Yeah.
So
Gabe needs a definition for that phrase. He does not understand
it.
He doesn't understand it front to back. Break it down Webster's style here.
Please do educate.
Honestly, if you don't know, I can't explain it. You just gotta know.
I can assume what it means.
You like I don't know, like
It's a
being able
vibe.
to express yourself and people can relate to it. Also incorporating like femininity and sexuality and being open and freely and honest about that, you know?
Sure.
That's a different side of me. I don't know if I can kind of translate that well enough. I probably will never, to be honest. I don't know. I did start making new music, but it wasn't that.
Right.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I mean, piggybacking off of that, I think it brings me to my next question, which is we've talked to a lot of artists in sort of the past 2 weeks about the duality between Mariah the human and Mariah Colon. But I think it's interesting with you because you do trade under your real name. And we've spoken to artists about sort of creating this superhero persona for them, but then also being, you know, Isaiah when they go home, you know?
Right.
What does that mean for you? Like that you spoke a little bit about being free, being comfortable, open and honest. Is that terrifying because you trade, this is you know, like.
Oh, it is sometimes. It really is. I just don't think I'm like a good liar. And I don't think that I'm like, I don't even have like a nickname. They call me Mariah. Like, I've like sat and thought about this. I was like, okay, well, I can think of a stage name, right? Well, what am I going to use? I don't really know. And as of right now, like, I'm okay with it being my name. And I feel like me as an artist also represents me as a person or me as a coworker and me as a friend.
Right.
You know, like I am the same person no matter which environment that I'm in. And I think that's okay by me at the moment, at the current moment. I think that's okay.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. A little fun bit, like, so you used to work at Barnes and Noble and you used to drop all your paychecks on books. Of this selection that you see behind us, what subject or areas do you like to explore? And maybe we can find something to donate to the Mariah Colon Library.
I actually don't read. I read that, so I don't know where that came from. I mean, I read the things that I'm interested in, which is mostly like poetry or like holistic medicine type of things. Like if I like to read on affirmations or how to meditate, which chakras need to be tended to. But like, I don't actively pick up books and read. So yeah.
Neither does Weekend Gabe, to be fair. You know,
and that's okay. That's okay. I feel like we consume so many forms of art every single day that maybe just reading a book is your cup of tea, and that's fine. And I'm sure music is. Art can be, you know, in different forms, and that's fine. You don't need to read. And we spend a lot of time on social media anyway. Like, I'm reading tweets all day. That's reading to me. That's enough reading to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. No, hell yeah. You spoke about a new EP that you're working on. Can you give us any exclusive there? Or if you can't give us any exclusive, let us know. Let us peek behind the curtain at where your focus is at as far as what you want this to sound like, what you want this to feel like.
Okay. I can give you a couple things. So I originally started working on a project, right? So, which is still in the works. And it's a collective of just, I'm trying to branch out and genre blend and try different genres. Like I said earlier, like pop worked, you know, it works. Yeah. But I grew up listening to alternative, and alternative is like where my heart is. And I think like I really want to try that out. So I started working on some music. That's what the project's necessarily going to be about, you know. That's the genre that I'm kind of working around, like bedroom pop alternative. And I'm very excited. That's super, super awesome. But I do have a single coming out next month. So I haven't like said anything or talked about it yet. And it is a little bit different. It's not the alternative, what I'm going for. It's kind of like it's R&B, and it's a lot different. It's a lot different. It's a love song. You know, I've never ever like wrote. First of all, it's really hard for me to write happy music. Like feel the same. If you take away the beats, it's kind of a sad song.
It is kind of a sad song if you really analyze it lyrically. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but this song that is going to be coming out is happy, and it's different. It's different. I'm in a different place in life. I feel like. Not that I wasn't in a good place in the past. I just feel like I'm having a hard time making sad music, which is like crazy to say.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot different now.
That's refreshing. That's refreshing. That's what's up. We with the little bit of time that we have remaining, we like to have a little bit of fun. So we came up with some questions in the back room here. First thing I want to talk about before we get into that is that I saw that a video of yours went viral, and then the internet made fun of your hair.
Yeah, they're so rude. My sister put up a TikTok of me in my room. We were like getting ready for like a party, and I straightened my hair, and like I haven't straightened my hair in like I don't even know 2-ish years. I have curly hair, and I've been really trying to appreciate and love myself and my hair. So I just don't, and I really wanted to in the moment, and I don't have a straightener because I don't straighten my hair. So I was using like some cheap ass straightener, and my hair just wasn't looking right. And she recorded a video of me, and I'm like, Tina, please delete that. She was like, no one's gonna see it. Oh, it's too late. Post on TikTok, like 1 million views. I'm like, no one's gonna see it, Tina. Yeah, no one's gonna see it. I'm sure. And everyone in the comments are like, your hair looks so dry. It looks so brittle. Ew. Like the layers are terrible. And they were just being so mean to me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I went off on everyone in the comments. I'm like, I have curly hair. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, although I shouldn't have, of course, but like, you don't know me. Like it doesn't. Yeah, it was just bad timing, I feel like.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. On to a happier topic. If you had to get a song of yours tattooed, interpret the word tattooed in any sense that you would like to interpret that. But which song would it be?
Okay. Well, I really like the spoken word I have on my EP. It's just basically like kind of reclaiming my own power as a person and say like I'm free from the chains of society, basically. If I had to get anything tattooed, I would get anything that I wrote there because I am free and there's nothing holding me back. So I think that's what I would do.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And my last question, we talked about a little bit how you felt that the universe was conspiring against you. And I thought to myself about that scene from Harry Potter where the Bogart comes out of the closet and then they're like, ridiculous. So I was saying, if the universe was a person and you could dress, design, and describe this person, what would they look like to you? Not now, to be clear, not how you felt back then, how you feel right now.
The universe is my higher self. Whatever. So
it looks like you.
Yeah, you know what? It is me. All the like good decisions that happen in life are because I choose to make good decisions, and all the bad things that happen, they're not by coincidence, it's by divine timing. You know, like say you got into a car accident on the way to work. Well, that's okay because maybe you weren't meant to be at work at that specific time, and that is okay. The universe looks like me. It looks like me in some bright green pants and some pretty earrings. It's me.
Hell yeah. That's a lovely answer. That's a lovely answer.
Mariah Colon, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Weekend at Gabe's. We appreciate it. Go collect all her music on all digital streaming platforms available, and we look forward to the new single next month. We can't wait.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head, and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.